Hello all and welcome to another episode of The Late Booter. And it's been a while, but I finally got a Sunday off work and I can go again. So what is The Late Booter in case you're new to it? Well, instead of getting up the crack of dawn and trying to beat everybody to the good stuff and all the bargains, I instead turn up late and still try to find something to add to the collection, something to help fund the collection by reselling, or even something to trade into CEX to help fund the collection and support the collection that way. But I am also looking for stuff that does just interest me, stuff I'm a fan of, part of a fandom of, and all that sort of stuff. But also I am now going to be starting looking for horrors on Blu-rays, because I'd like to build up a bit of a collection there. Look for horror Blu-rays that either are something that I might be interested in watching, so a bit random I've never heard of, but also I want to start getting all the classics and all the big stuff on Blu-ray as well. I've got a lot of it on DVD, some of it I haven't even got at all just because of the internet and ease of access to films nowadays, but we'll be looking for those now. Anyway, we're not far away from the boot sale. We should be getting there just after 12 like I normally do, when it's cheap and after it's been open for 3 hours. So in this, don't really set myself any rules, but you will see at least a pickup. So anyway, let's get a strut on and get to that boot sale.
I'm a large shirt, so bring it with me.
I would love to do that.
Might throw over. That's it, I've sold him stuff as well. I've sold him.
You and your tiny cream. Just get you a blue. Come on. Have a try for it. 50p. Alright, thank you guys. Thanks for coming.
And the wrong cup.
Mi-am luat papuși la Carolina. Mărimea 5 mare, Adrian?
Ce?
5 mare?
Ce?
Mărime la Carolina.
Da, e mare. 7 trebuie, da.
Okay, so we're done at the booter, and I have to say, for as late as I go, that's probably the best I've done and the most I've picked up since I've been doing this and going that late. I mean, as I walk away, I do like to tell you about the stuff that I left behind, and I must admit, there's not a lot that I did leave behind to tell you about. So if you saw me approach something and pick it up and I don't mention it in this section, there's a good chance I might have picked it up. But stuff I did leave behind, you'll have seen me approach sort of some games on the floor, 360 games and a PS2 FIFA. The one game that did interest me amongst that was the Black Ops, because it trades in for £3. And as I was picking it up to look at it, she said that's only £1. I would have taken it £1 for that £3 trade-in. But no disc in it. I did tell her all the others had discs in it. It wasn't in the wrong box or anything like that. So unfortunately I left that behind, obviously, because it was just an empty case in the end. Did go to another store which I didn't capture on footage. Didn't capture any footage of it. He had 2 360 games on his table. One again was the same Black Ops, and there was also a Medal of Honor game there as well. I forget exactly which one it was. But what interests me about that is they were both NTSC. Don't normally see NTSC 360 games at a boot sale, but none of them have stackable achievement lists, so they don't appeal to me there. And obviously CX won't take it, so that's another Black Ops that I'm leaving behind. One thing you did see in the footage was me approaching this massive pile of games on the floor. A lot of 360, some PS3 and PS2 mixed in there as well. Obviously I didn't pick up every game in that bundle. There was a lot of 50p titles, a lot of Assassin's Creed, Halos, FIFAs and things like that. Colour Wii games in there as well, I think, that weren't a lot. A lot of 50p titles. And I picked up 3 games, I will show you those in a minute. And the geezer said, oh yeah, they're £1 each. And I kind of because of the trading value of a couple of them. And then he said 50p each. So I said, what about all 3 for £1? And he done it. So I will show you those later, but I obviously did leave the bulk of that pile behind. So, as I say, I normally show you my pickups roadside. Normally plonk my bag down and show my pickups roadside, but I picked up quite a bit, and I'm going to wait till I get home. But bear with me, and we'll see some pickups very shortly when I finally get home. Okay, so home now, and it's time to show you what I picked up at today's car boot sale. And yes, do not worry, I did leave with that Sega Mega Drive 2 instruction manual. Funny little story behind this one, because as you'll have seen in that footage, I spotted it sort of away from the stall a bit, face down like this, and obviously the Sega caught my eye. Plus, obviously, the decent thing to do is if someone's stuff has blown away or separate from the stall, you pick it up and you put it back. Well, I do anyway. But when I put it back, obviously, I got up and I turned around to the seller, and I was going to ask him and point at the book and just say, the manual, and say, how much do you want for that book, mate? But then I thought to myself, well, it was chat out, maybe it wasn't his. So I picked the book back up and said, oh mate, this was out there, is this yours? And he said, there are no books on my store, mate, so it's definitely not mine. So with that I thought, okay, well, it's actually further away from the stall opposite you, but I will ask them as well. I just showed them the book and said, just found this on the pathway, is this your book? And they turned around and there was a couple, they're a lovely couple, and they just said, no, that's not ours either. So with that, I said, oh, well, this has put me in a rather awkward predicament, because for the right price, I'd kind of like to buy this. And the couple just said to me, do you know what? He said, don't worry about it. He said, no one's claimed it, just take it. And I turned around to the first seller whose stall it was jutted out from, who I originally asked if it was his, and he just nodded and said, yeah, go for it, mate. So with that, I've ended up with a free instruction manual for the Sega Mega Drive 2, and that's just not something I ever thought would happen in my life, just to find this on the floor at a car boot sale. Perhaps somebody else did pick it up and then later drop it, but you're never going to find them. So I decided, yeah, I will take this, but at the same time, I'm not going to personally benefit out of this. I'm not going to try and make any money out of it or anything like that. Obviously, I've got tons of friends in the retro gaming community that all collect this sort of era of stuff, loads of them that do, and what I'll do is I shall hold on to this until one of them gets the Sega Mega Drive 2 boxed or unboxed and they want a manual for it, and I will just gift it to them and basically pass on the good fortune that I've received today. It would just feel very wrong for me to gain out of this. Okay, so the next item that I picked up, you'll have seen me go around a little bit further and look at this on the floor. The England Squad medal collection, 1998. Now these were all the rage when I was growing up. These medal collections. There was turtle ones, there was older England ones as well, and they used to do by Woolworths, and in this case, J. Sainsbury's. Yes, I saw this on the floor. I picked it up and I said, "How much do you want for this, please?" And the lady said, "Oh, just give us 50p." And I was like, 50p, couldn't get that out quick enough. Having that all day long. This is so cool. So yeah, you'll see me open it up in the footage. There is one missing in the bottom right corner, and it's Mr. Andrew Cole, but the rest are there and all in great condition as well. Look, we've got Bex here, then we've got Bex next to Paul Gascoigne as well. So that was a great team back then, wasn't it? In the '90s, in the late '90s, mid '90s, that Euro '96 team was an absolutely fantastic team. But yeah, really pleased to have this. As I say, Andy Cole is missing. So what did I do? On the walk home towards the train station, got my phone out, got eBay out, and I've actually ordered that one missing coin to complete this set. That cost me £1.60 including delivery. Now, that's including delivery. So basically, the cheapest ones on eBay, if you just buy a coin on its own and take into account deliveries, they're about £1 each. And there's 23 in it if you count missing Andy Cole. So I got 22 of them at a quid each. So... And I've got the book, even though the book is a little bit, it's bent up, it's not in the greatest condition, but it's not awful, and obviously I've got it. So this has got to be worth a good 20 quid all day long, surely. Surely, something like that. Certainly for what will now be a complete set once I put Andy Cole in that bottom right-hand corner. But this is just full of nostalgia for me. I love it. I would like to say I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I will probably end up keeping this just because I think it's great. I really do. I love it, and I do love my football as well. Now, before I pick this up, I did go through a box of DVDs. We'll come back to that box later. But the next thing in the footage that you do see, because I'm sort of doing this pickup in chronological order here, is that pile of games on the floor. And I would explain that's, the deal that I ended up doing with the guy. He wanted originally £1 each for all of these games, but as I say, there was a lot of 50p and £1 titles, and they weren't really worth what he was asking. And I had trading these in mind. So we've got Gran Turismo 5, Call of Duty 4 and Fable 3. So I had traded them in mind, and for £1 each it wouldn't have been worth it. So he said, 50p each. So I then went, all three for £1. He said yes, the deal was done. So these are all going to get traded in. Gran Turismo 5 is £1.20 trade. Call of Duty 4 is also £1.20 trade. That's £2.40. And Fable 3 is £1.40 trade. So we've got £3.80 trade for these three games. So that's where they're all going to go. I know I don't need to check for any potential upgrades there, but I will check my copy of Fable 3, whether the manual might need an upgrade, if it's got a sticker on it or whatever. And there's some extra bits here. I think there's even an Xbox Live code there as well, potentially as well. But if my Fable 3 is missing any of those bits, they'll go in, and then CX will get the manual and anything else that's in the box. Yes, I'm not going to take the manual out and leave no manual in there at all. Don't really like doing that. So this was the stuff that I picked up on my first circuit round, because when you're at a boot sale, I'm pretty sure everybody does it, that's at boot sales, hunting for reselling things and trying to get some trade credit. You scoot around quick enough and try to see what you really want that's in plain sight, and then you have a proper thorough search. So when I did that proper thorough search, I went back to that box of DVDs that you saw me going through before I picked up the England book. And it was all DVDs, and I did say at the beginning that I was looking for horror Blu-rays, and there were horror DVDs in there, but I was like, no, I want horror Blu-rays. But he was sticking to 50p per DVD. But the only thing that was really worth the 50p there was a box set. And the box that I found in that box was Jurassic Park The Ultimate Collection. Yeah, I was only going to get Blu-rays, but my initial thought on this is that it would be nice to have these Jurassic Park films in a physical form, you know, for when or if I want to watch them, because I do like the original Jurassic Park. The second one I quite enjoy as well. Third one wasted my time, so I probably won't be watching that again. And we've got this bonus DVD in there as well. However, this does trade in at CX for £1.50, and I pay 50p for this because every DVD in that box was 50p. It's always worth going through DVD boxes because sometimes games do find their way in there. In fact, quite often games do find their way in there, which was what my original look was for. And then I had a proper look, I went right to the bottom, and that's when I uncovered this as well. So yeah, for 50p, I think that's not a bad little bargain. You know, it might end up trading it in for what, a £1 profit in trade credit. Okay, next up, we do have a horror Blu-ray. I found one. There weren't many Blu-rays at this boot sale, and there was quite a few stalls at this boot sale. This had a good turnout. I was really pleased with the turnout of this boot sale, actually. You know, that one can be a bit hit and miss with the amount of stalls, but not today. Perfect amount turned up today. So finally found a stall with the Blu-rays and a horror Blu-ray that took my interest. You know, I wasn't just going to pick it up even just for the sake of it. I read the back of it. It does sound kind of interesting. Never heard of it. I do like watching sort of a horror film I've never heard of. That certainly interests me. So yeah, this is called Devil, and we've got, look, Step Into the Elevator. So yeah, only 50p, trying a new horror movie I've never seen. Always a winner for me. Now, this is another reason why you should do a second look round, because sometimes stalls, you know, and I must admit, I watched my footage back because I was like, how did I miss these PS2 games on my first scooch round? How did I miss them? And I checked my footage back and they weren't there. So I'll put a little image up now of my footage, and then I'll put a red circle of where they were next time I went back. And I'm not circling the breadboard, believe it or not, I'm circling where they were. And that's these two games here. They were just sat there, and I say they weren't their first time round. My eye was immediately drawn to SingStar Queen because I know that holds a tiny bit of value. So instead of just saying how much for that game, I said, how much do you want for the PlayStation 2 game? So I was hoping he was going to say £1 each or 50p each, and then I would have snagged that one straight away. But what he actually said to me was, give me £1 for both of them. And I was like, okay, that'll do. I can't argue with that. I'll take that. This is a CXL's for a £5 and it trades in for 2, so doubling my money there. And this actually trades in for 60p, so I paid 50p for it and I've gained 10p in trade. But these Double X games, these London Racer games, London Racer 1, London Racer 2, there's a USA Racer as well. They are notoriously bad games. They are not good, but I do like playing a bad game, so I'm going to give this a try and play it anyway. But yeah, this is one of the dearer racer games at £2 with what CX sell it for. I think there's one that's a little bit dearer than that at £4 or something. But yeah, surprisingly holds a tiny bit of value rather than just be a 50p shovelware shelf filler, even though it probably is shovelware because it is that bad. They all are. So yeah, really pleased at picking up these two here for a quid at 50p each, basically. So that was a nice little bargain. That one will be being traded in. And that's everything from the boot sale. As I say, normally I go to the boot sales this late, and the stuff I find is probably normally all DVDs and a couple of games. But to find all these games, what we've got 5 in total here, and then we got a horror Blu-ray, which is one thing I really wanted to find. This DVD I didn't expect to turn up. And then we've got the England book as well, at a steal of a price. And then you can't argue with free Sega Mega Drive 2 manual. So the boot sale has been absolutely brilliant today. It's always fun to go to them as well. And I'm really pleased with how well I've done. So yeah, that's the pickups from the boot sale. And it's nice to be home and in the warm because it did start raining as I was walking out. So it wouldn't have been advisable to do this roadside anyway. But I do like doing them roadside. It's a little bit different, isn't it? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the pickups for the boot sale. This just leaves me to thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be awesome. If you have enjoyed this, why not consider subscribing if you are new? Please leave a comment below. I do love a bit of genuine interaction. And then finally, as always, please do take care.